Sorry, got cut off there, but to talk about the whole thing with transgender people and gay people, gay trans men have it the worst, okay? Trans men look down on gay people. They think being a man many of the time. I'm not saying all. I'm just saying there's a lot of homophobia on gay men, and this is biological men who are gay. They do have a sense of, and they like to assert, many of them like to assert manliness through them being what they consider heterosexual by being attracted to women. So trans men, many of the time, the trans masculine community, there is a sense of looking down on gay trans men, and almost like there's something a little wrong with them. And then also on the gay side of things, oh, do not mess with them, please. Um, like this story that she's going to bring up, this is definitely going to show how gay trans men are not really accepted among the gay male community. So let's continue.
And then the facility caved and apologized to her. And I was like, ah, Jesus Christ, none of you have any freaking courage.
But in that situation, they were saying that, she was saying, sorry, that that they basically kicked the trans man out because they were a gay trans man and it was for gay men. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not to be cool. Being a gay trans man is not beneficial in the LGBT community. It's actually a nuisance. But I just wanted to point that part out. I love this video. I'm just responding, really reacting to it. Continue.
So there's that. So I guess I think she's underage, so she shouldn't be in bathhouses anyway. But what exactly is she imagining?
And bathhouses are honestly kind of dangerous.
Parties with all boys? What is, I have no idea. And she probably doesn't either. Okay, she goes on. The only example I can really think of is like Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper. I have no idea who those people are. I guess it's a show. She keeps going. Like, if I kissed a man, that somehow wouldn't make it a gay kiss because I don't have a male body. Right. See, that voice of sanity that...
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is obviously not a transgender person. Because if that's a transgender person, they would actually see that as gay. Because it would... to the person who's trans, they will feel like the male sex is their same sex. Just like for a trans woman, they will feel like the female sex is their same sex. So if they're with a woman, they feel like a lesbian. If they're with a man, they feel gay. If you don't feel that way, then to some extent you do see yourself as a female or male, whichever your biological sex is. And in these situations, it's honestly like, why is it you are trying to say you're the opposite sex might be more of a thing of wanting to be rather than actually feeling that you are specifically the opposite sex. Continue.
Screaming back there through the wilderness of trans cray is strong. It's probably the only one, but it is very strong. And hopefully she will heed the wisdom of this voice. No, it would not be a gay kiss because, yes, you need two males kissing or two women kissing. See, maybe she really does want to be gay. And instead of internalized transphobia, she has internalized homophobia. So she is denying her homosexuality and her attraction.
I think if she was attracted to females, actually, that would be encouraged. Like I said, with trans men, it is encouraged to be attracted to women over men. So I don't think she would try to suppress that. Continue, though.
To girls and is trying to be some kind of trans gay, which there is not a thing. Either that or she said she's just a confused straight girl. So yeah, no. Heed the voice of sanity, dear.
I would agree with the latter. I think that there's something probably hidden beneath that's a reason why she thinks that she is male, but really doesn't deep down. what is it, why is it, and, you know, there may be something behind that reason rather than a genuine feeling that you are actually the opposite sex. Continue.
You are no kind of homosexual. You are just a straight girl who likes boys and utterly unremarkable. Okay. She goes on, just venting because this feeling sucks. Don't get me wrong. I know I can be a man without the male parts. Now, see, that's the fantasy.
If that was really the case, then they wouldn't get surgery. See, they say that they don't need the male parts or the female parts, but all they do is get the surgery, stay on the hormones for the rest of their lives, and somehow think that they do not need any of those parts, but they've really actually tried their hardest to get those parts as much as they could, you know. So who is really saying that they don't need the male parts or the female parts to be female or male? It's them. Like, nobody told them to get surgery or stay on hormones. That was all their choice, and that kind of shows how they feel about their own bodies. You know, they say that they're supposed to be trying to love who they are, but they are trying to disguise who they are in one way or another. They never love their body and love who they are as a person at the same time. Continue though.
To see coming in there. No, you can't be a man without the male parts. You really can't. You need the whole, meat and two veg and the chromosomes. You need all of that in order to be a man. Or you at least need to have the body plan that was supposed to allow your body to have the meat and two veg. If the plan goes awry and somehow or another there's a developmental issue, you still remain male. You are no less male than a man whose body successfully followed that plan.
I do not see it that way completely. The way I see it is this. I think you're talking about like people with androgen and sensitivity syndrome and things of that nature. I see people with androgen and sensitivity syndrome as in the intersex category, I would say. But I do get your point, because medically they used to call them I kind of feel like, honestly, with people with androgen and sensitivity syndrome, I feel like they have like a condition that makes their male development stunted and kind of not really non-existent, I wouldn't say, but it puts them on a different path basically than the male development traditionally is. So that's why I just generally would consider them intersex, but with that in mind, I do find that a lot of people do seem to think that all people are either XX or XY. Because of conditions like androgen and sensitivity syndrome, which is not true. Many people are XY, some people are XY, some people are different things, Some people are literally a combination of their brother and their sister, in vitro, basically. And what happens in those cases, you could end up with ovitestes, you could end up with many different ambiguous characteristics. So to me, like, there's many different things. And then this, to me, goes into the whole point of what we're talking about here. Like, people always talk about the mental disorders that cause people to think that they are transgender, right? But you never really think of the physical conditions and the physical condition of being intersex that could also make you feel as though you are actually the opposite sex as well. And there have been plenty of people who have actually found out that they were actually intersex through situations like this of being transgender, but usually when these things happen, they will not think in the back of their mind they're the sex they're born. Usually that would have to do with an underlying mental issue. But if you staunchly, actually, honestly, always thought that you were male while you're born female, sometimes that is actually in common with what some people have experienced when they are both. Now, I wanted to talk about one other part of this. Yeah, there was this one situation. She's talking about men with XY chromosomes, and this defines someone as male. But the thing is, there are people who are born with male genitalia and, penis, balls, sperm, all the male reproductive organs, but they're still XX chromosomes. There is specifically an individual on YouTube who was an influencer, I guess, or YouTuber, who specifically was saying that they were XX chromosomes, not XXY, that's Klinefelter syndrome, XX male syndrome, which is Des LaChapelle syndrome. And she was transgender. Well, she thought she was transgender because she was intersex. But so I'm like, sometimes things like that happen. I was just pointing out that that's another situation where I saw those type of situations occur. You do see quite a few people also who are XXY, the Klinefelter syndrome, where some people will identify as female too. And I consider them intersex too. And I know that's debatable, but that's just my perspective. Yeah, but continue.
You see. So yeah, you need the male parts, all of them. You know what I'm saying? You need that.
Oh, yeah, one other thing I wanted to say. Some people who are XY chromosomes, like say for example, you're XX and XY, you can have XY chromosomes and actually be born with female genitalia and female reproductive organs, enough to be able to be pregnant. I don't think anyone is saying someone who is a pregnant mother is a man. I mean, like, that kind of logic would mess things up. I like to be as considerate of the intersex community as possible, because when we're not, we mess everything up for those who fall under those categories, especially as we learn more and more about the genetic differentiation of people who normally would not get karyotype tests, but nowadays are often getting them and finding out they're not XX and they're not XY, but there's something in between. So I like to be considerate of the other people. But I do think like XY chromosome alone does mean a male sex to some extent, because it's the sex chromosomes. So if your sex chromosomes are male, technically you are male sex. But still, to me, I think like you can still be intersex, kind of. Yeah. But anyway.
So I think there's hope for this.
Basically, pseudo hermaphrodite was the term they used to call it, but I don't like to use that term, so that's why I say, I guess, kind of intersex. Anyway, continue.
Hopefully, she will find something more compelling to think about than this eventually. So I know I can be a man without the male parts. See, this is the bullshit that is reinforced on this site, because people are like, I feel you, dude, or yeah, man, I go through the same thing. It's like, ain't none of y'all male. There you go. She goes on, but something in my brain is constantly telling me otherwise. That's awesome.